Hi friends! It's super early in the morning and I thought it would be wonderful to come out so you could hear the birds this morning. So we're going to wrap up our environmental education week and read Wonderful Nature, Wonderful You. It's by Karin, Ireland. Have you ever spent a day in the mountains? Did you notice how peaceful it was? Did you see squirrels scurry past, cheeks full with nuts for their dinner, while trees stand patiently hour after hour after hour? Everything moves at its own pace to do what it does best. We can learn many things from nature. The sun doesn't struggle to move faster or shine brightly, but it never stops moving or shining either. Stars don't try to change their patterns to be more beautiful. Coyotes howl, rabbits hop, and possums carry their babies in a pouch. It's okay to be different. Everything in nature is perfect, just the way it is. You are perfect too. Just the way you are. Look at this cute possum. Fish don't try to walk just because they see that birds can. Elephants don't try to fly, and warthogs don't try to climb trees. Tigers have stripes, leopards have spots, and lions don't have either. None wishes that they were different. Each is satisfied with the special gifts it has. You have special gifts too, and they are wonderful. What do you think they are? A caterpillar becomes a butterfly slowly and confidently. Day changes to night and back to day again. Often, change is beautiful. The moon is visible to us for a while, and then it is not, and then it's visible again. Change doesn't mean that something is lost. Almost always, something is gained in the process of changing. Don't worry if something in your life changes. It will be okay, and so will you. Look for the good things that change can bring. There's the caterpillar changing into a butterfly. The tide comes in and the tide goes out. The sky isn't always blue, but then it isn't always gray either. Sea otters, seals, and sea lions swim sometimes. Sometimes they float. And sometimes they bask in the sun. How boring it would be if things were always the same. Balance doesn't always mean equal halves. Balance means that sometimes something is one way, and sometimes it's just the opposite, and sometimes it's in between. Sometimes you'll be happy, sometimes sad, sometimes angry, or afraid, or lonely. And that's okay, because sometime soon you'll be happy again. Whooping cranes dance just for the fun of it, leaping and bowing to their partner, tossing bits of straw in the air and catching it again. Dolphins play by leaping and diving and then leaping and diving again and again, and using their bodies like surfboards to ride the waves. When you're playing, play with all your heart. Don't worry about things that happened yesterday. Don't worry about the things that might happen tomorrow. Think about what you're playing and enjoy yourself. A snake doesn't rush to shed its skin too soon. It couldn't even if it tried. A tadpole doesn't hurry to become a frog, but it doesn't try to stay a tadpole forever either. always do the best you can. Don't rush to get something done if it needs to be done slowly, and don't take all day if what you're doing needs to be done in a hurry. Nothing says that all birds have to act alike. Some eat fish, and some eat fruit, and others eat seeds or worms or snails. Some birds fly, and some birds don't, and some birds even swim. They don't question their instincts. Each just does what feels right. And you don't have to be like somebody else. If it doesn't feel right to you, you know how to be yourself better than anybody else does. Gorillas are gentle and less threatened. They are peaceful and playful, and they don't get angry or fight except to protect themselves. Giraffes never bother the grass-eating animals that wander through their herds. They will protect their babies with a powerful kick to anyone who would harm them. But they are really peaceful animals who would rather run from danger than fight. You too can decide what's important to make a fuss about and what isn't. Probably you'll discover that most of the time it's more pleasant to be peaceful. The average lion doesn't know anything about fairness. It knows that sometimes it catches its dinner, and more often than not, dinner gets away. A lion wouldn't blame another lion if it were unable to catch a wild beast. It wouldn't blame itself either. If the grass isn't tall enough where zebras are grazing, they move until they find grass more to their liking. If the lake or river dries up, hippopotamuses travel to another lake or river and make their home there. If you try something and it doesn't turn out the way you wanted, that's okay. Don't blame someone else, and don't be angry at yourself. Just try again. Zebras are my favorite. The flowing river makes holes in the homes in Bam's beaver build, and so they must stay busy patching and rebuilding. Ants carry pieces of food that weigh more than they do. If they find an obstacle in their path, they don't give up. They find a way to get past it and do what they set out to do. Don't you give up either. If you do something and it doesn't work the first few times, try doing it a little differently. Green sea turtle returns to the beach where it was hatched to lay its own eggs. The beach may be several hundred miles away, but when it's time to migrate, the turtle simply begins its trip. When it's time for a baby parrot to fly, it spreads its wings and flies. Nature expects to succeed in doing what it's there to do. You can do anything you set your heart and mind to do. You really can. In nature, dying is part of life. Flowers, trees, and animals live for a while, and then they die to make room for other flowers, trees, and animals to live. When something dies, though, it never really goes away. It changes form from what it was to something that still exists but is different. Have you ever had a pet that died? It's normal to feel sad, but the pet will always be there in your memory and in your heart. Nature does not hope that it will be okay. Nature doesn't need to hope, because it seems to know that it is perfect, whole and complete, just the way it is and just the way it isn't. And so are you. It knows it already has everything it needs to succeed. And so do you. The end. I think that book was beautiful. It's a Dawn Publications book. I love all their books about nature. This one especially, teaching us that nature can be a wonderful teacher. So, friends, I hope that you are able to enjoy this beautiful morning and this beautiful day, and I will read to you again soon. Bye-bye.